Hey, it's Joe Fear here from Evergreen Profits and the Hustle and Flowchart podcast. This guy, David Allen from Getting Things Done, I'm sure you recognize the book. Hopefully you've read the book and hopefully you actually implement the stuff. Matt and I actually just had the opportunity to sit down with David in our podcast alongside Mark Acosta Rubio as a third host, which was really cool. And in this little clip, David actually talked about the first time he experienced unpacking his brain and doing this thing called a mind sweep. This, I will tell from personal experience, is my favorite part of this whole getting things done process. He outlines that inside the book here at Getting Things Done, obviously. But check out David's words, and this is a little clip from the podcast. At the end, we'll give you a little link to check out the whole thing. So enjoy.
When I met a guy who became a mentor of mine for a couple of years when I started my own consulting practice back in 1981 and 82. And he had uncovered the process of working with executives that needed to clear their head and make next action decision. And so he said, David, and he had a whole consulting model about organizational change that he was just brilliant at. And he said, I'd be willing to, because I was going to bring him a client that I was working with, to do that. He said, you bring me that client, I'll put you under my shoulder and teach you my process. So he actually sat me down and had me do a mind sweep, a total mind sweep, empty my head, and had me make next action decisions about every one of those things. And I went, oh my God. I wasn't in pain. I thought I had my shit together. So, but when he took me through this process and I saw how much of a vista that opened for me, and how much of a change in my own energy and clarity and focus and control that created that I didn't know I was missing. I went, oh my God, that is really super wicked way cool. So I began to take his process, and I sat with Dean and spent quite a lot of time with him. He had uncovered that process simply to clear the deck so that organizations could actually go through significant change. Because so many of them had so many old business stacked up and constipated in their heads, trying to make a change and have some new vision or some new future. It's like swimming in quicksand. Mm-hmm. And so he had uncovered that as a process, just those two things in and of themselves that are still core elements of the getting things done process. And what's kind of funny is that was so powerful. I began to use that with my own consulting clients, and it produced exactly the same results. I went, wow, that's cool. And so even though I was involved in consulting with organizational change, and I think, Mark, I think probably we had some of those kind of conversations and some of that consulting as well. What the truth is, just emptying people's heads and having them make next action decisions about what had their attention solved 90% of all the presenting issues anyway.
Right.